You ever notice how dirty your keyboard can get? My goodness. Doesn't look that dirty from the way I'm looking at it. Welcome everyone, this is John, living in our 50s. Today we worked on the back porch, cleaning it up. Didn't do a whole lot. Kind of lazy day, lazy Sunday. But I want to talk to y'all about something that kind of, as I'm getting up there in my 50s, later in my 50s, it's something occurred to me. And that's that once you get, I guess maybe over the age of 50, it comes to a point where things don't bother you as much. I'm sure my wife would say I'm still a very intense person, but it's, and my kids probably too. But really, I've got a lot more, I know y'all can hear the cat, a lot more patience, or I just, it just doesn't bother me the way it used to. I don't know. The way I can put it is like, you just stop really worrying about what people think anymore, and you kind of just do your thing. You just start living for yourself and not living for everyone else. The things that matter, of course, are family, health, faith, peace, and quiet. Notice I didn't put work in there. When I was younger, I was working hard, trying to get ahead and try to be, the big guy and all that kind of stuff. And it never, just, not that it didn't pan out, just wasn't in the cards, I guess. Maybe I worried too much about that. But, you want to spend time with your family. You want to take care of yourself. You want to, you look at your faith. You got to have, you believe in something. I mean, nobody believes in just nothing at all. You got to have some type of belief. Choosing not to believe, you're believing in yourself, I guess. But, it's just, thinking along the terms of, why do I care so much about what other people think? Or, let me worry about the things that are most important. And that's your family, your faith, your health. I mean, I started really looking at my health this year, all because, the YouTuber Adam the Woo passed away at, was he 51, right? He'd been 52 this year, or was he 52? God, I can't remember now. But those things, you start looking at things a little differently. I want to be able to do things longer in life. I want to be able to, if I'm around, when we go camping, I'd love to be able to go and hike, check things out. A lot of things that, in cities, walking around, there's a lot of walking involved. Walk here, walk there. You want to still be able to do that kind of stuff. And heck, when we go on cruises, I want to be able to do the excursions too, so that's the kind of things that, you got to look forward to something. You waste less time. That's it. So you're less drama. You don't, you're not having to deal with all the drama of when kids are fighting and I guess that kind of stuff. I wasn't around in the morning time when a lot of that stuff happened because I was already at work. But, those are definitely some things that I'd always hear about. You're out chasing all the trends and all that kind of stuff, and you're just more intentional about your living. What purpose does it serve for me to go do this? Is this to help me? Then that's to help my family in some way. Those types of things. Life just slows down, in a good way. I know in the mornings I enjoy, because I didn't get that. I used to, for years, I would get up and get in the shower first thing in the morning and head to work. I want to be the first there, or one of the first few there. But those kinds of things are, I don't have to worry about as much anymore. I can work in the garden, in the morning time or in the evening, in the afternoons. And just sitting on the porch. We're cleaning the porch today because, we want to get back out there to sit, but everything's so dirty. And now these south winds will be coming in. We have to clean it a lot more in the summertime. So those kinds of things, I've learned from this vlog that my experiences have some value. When I can, pour into younger folks. Most of you get people out there, most of you guys out there, because it is mainly men. There are some women that watch the channel, but most everybody's over 50, and the majority of them are over 65. So that's I'm not really teaching y'all anything. Maybe y'all got some experiences you could add to this, or some advice on this that you could add. But I'm thinking kind of along the lines, it's kind of windy out there, that's why I keep walking around the garage. But there's a lot of just a lot of advice out there, good advice that people can give. So comment down below, something that you've learned since you gotten up there in age, you've learned that has given you better quality of life. Another thing, helping others. I worked for some organizations where we had lots of volunteers, and I noticed that most of the volunteers, especially during the week, were older people, because they would have time to go and volunteer, and they kind of found their passion. They're not having to chase the almighty dollar to get things paid and what have you. But the older you get, the more you're able to help out others, whether that's through giving, or that's through your volunteer work, or just maybe just helping others. And just as you see people in need, if you're in line at the grocery store and you see a mom that's struggling, maybe you pick up her bill, maybe not, who knows. But those are just some things that kind of come to mind. Another thing I've noticed since gotten older, that your faith gets deeper. The more understanding you have of what God's trying to teach us and tell us about. And I think that all comes from some of experience too, knowing that things are out of your control. As much as you tried in your life to control things, perhaps it was just very obvious that you're not in control of everything, and there's only one that is, and that's God. Sorry, I see something on my wife's car. I don't know where it came from, but those are some things that I thought might be helpful to anyone that may be younger. You can look forward to. Once you get up there in age, there are some benefits, okay? Now, I'm not talking about AARP and that kind of crap. I'm just talking about there's benefits because of your age. You become a little more wiser and what have you. But your faith is, also, you have a little more understanding for what grace is. You have to trust God a lot more, too, because as you get older, you pray a lot more. Hey, God, can you heal me in this? Just kidding. But yeah, those are things that after you turn 50, they start to change a little bit. Yeah, I just also occurred to me when I did the Costco thing. I talked about I'm just getting less patient with folks. I don't know if that's the case, if I'm getting less patient, or just people out there, they're doing stupider things now, because I just don't remember some of the stuff that I see nowadays, the people who just don't care about anybody else that's around them. I'm trying to stay positive on this channel, and I want to keep it positive, but yeah, I've just noticed at my older age, maybe I used to call my dad old because, he complained about stuff, and now here I am complaining about these same kinds of things. So I just think it's funny that I'm speaking to y'all about old man things, that I noticed. But no, I mean, just the way people act, the way people do things, and especially when you're talking about like parents and their children and not being parented right. You kind of look at those things and think, well, I wouldn't do it that way. But then again, some of them are doing a lot better than I did. So, like, I point out my oldest daughter, Jenna. She's a rock star when it comes to dealing with her son. So he's a great kid. I love Benjamin. In fact, I've seen him twice this weekend on FaceTime. But that's not like getting to see him in person. But we had girls, He's a boy, so he's a lot different. He's all over the place, but she handles him. And, when he's not bad by any means, but if he says something, and probably didn't mean it that way, but he says something off to her, then the way she corrects him is a whole lot different than the way I used to correct the kids. So I'm learning a lot. And you're going to notice this, okay? You're going to notice this. I know, talking about Ben and all that, and then my new son-in-law, when it comes to tools and stuff. Now, Zach's got a lot more tools because he has an appliance repair business, but you want it in the vlog?
No, I have to.
You want to go do laundry? All right.
No,
All right, well, I had to move locations because my wife is out there, so I wanted to finish this up. So I guess I'll just come out here to the porch. It's freshly cleaned, but anyhow, so it takes a while before you start collecting all the tools that you need to do home projects. A lot of times some of these jobs you do things that take time. They take more time if you don't have the right tool, but if you got the right tools, you can get things done in half the time sometimes. So a lot of times in there. How many times did I just say the word time? But so getting home projects done, that kind of stuff, can go a whole lot quicker when you got the proper tools. So it takes a while to usually get all those tools together, but just enjoying things, like being outside, we enjoy sitting out on our sunset bench out there, and so that's those kinds of times is just what we like to do as we get older. And so you take the pace of life down a notch or two, and you just kind of put it into not low gear but mid gear. You're not in high gear all the time anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. In your 50s, you start trying to slow things down because you realize you're not going to be around forever, So I just thought that would be a good topic to talk about. Most everybody, though, that are viewers, that's why I kind of hadn't talked about it yet, but most people who are viewers are up there in age, my age or older. So, getting older isn't something to fear necessarily. It's something to appreciate. Because you're over 50, you've learned a few things the hard way, and the wisdom is priceless. So that's all I want to leave y'all with today. I'll leave y'all with that thought, and look for a video that I finally finished editing today. I was real hung up on it because it was back in 2020. If y'all watched the Mackinac Island one, where we went there after Mackinac Island, we went and we stayed in Manistee, Michigan, which is in the UP, and then we went to this, the owner there had told us about this ghost town called Fayette. He said, you should check it out. It's well preserved and all this kind of stuff. So we went out there, not expecting a whole lot, but got a whole lot more than what we were expecting. So, editing it was kind of tricky, because I wasn't videoing it for like YouTube necessarily. So a lot of it was done with a GoPro, and GoPro quality just isn't as good as an iPhone quality. Maybe they're better now. This is an old GoPro 5. But I got that edited and put up, and I just did voiceover because I was trying to use what we were saying in the videos, but it wasn't clear enough. Especially on the GoPro, if your hand's moving on it, makes all that noise, and so I just had to mute all the audio from the videos, and use some instrumental music, and then lowered the music and did voiceover for the rest of it. But it's probably a video about as long as this one, so y'all check it out. It's on Fayette, and then I'll be doing one on Pictured Rocks, and can't remember, there was something else. I've got a few cruises that I need to work on. So again, none of these were shot like in vlog format, but I'll do voiceover or put some music in there just to let you enjoy it. But that's going to be it for today, y'all. I hope y'all are having a fantastic day, and if the Lord wills, we'll see y'all in the next vlog. God bless. Well, as I was uploading that video to my iPad to edit it, Duke lost the game. Or I should say UConn won the game. So that busted my bracket. I still have Michigan and Arizona in there. Is it Illinois that UConn will be playing? So, the Final Four is UConn versus Illinois and Arizona versus Michigan. Well, hope y'all didn't pick Duke like I did. Hopefully y'all picked Michigan or Arizona, because that's probably who's going to win it. There's my neighbors. But yeah, y'all have a good day. See, I don't care as much, but I don't care. I mean, it crushes me that I'm out, but just for competition, though. Yeah. We'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a great one. Happy Sunday. Well, it's probably Monday now that you're watching this, so happy Monday.